Do a happy dance when our friend Jimmy the Baker went and visited him a little bit earlier on his In the Kitchen with David Fryer edition. These are, quite frankly, unlike any coffee cake or crumb cake that I've had that I've bought at the store. Why? Because Jimmy is a scratch baker. Because Jimmy is taking, instead of that dry cake we often find in a crumb cake, guess what Jimmy does? Adds a little vanilla pudding into it. Then we get a layer of either cinnamon or you're gonna find some fruit. And then he tops it with crumbs that are absolutely big and bold and delicious. This is the very first QVC tube, big deal for Jimmy. We're so excited to be able to do it. And here's what you're going to decide from. You're going to choose some flavors, and then you're going to choose when you want them to come home. Notice each of them are individually wrapped. That's wrapped in paper, and there's a reason for it. And here's what you can do. You can do the set of 14, which is going to be 7 cinnamon and 7 blueberry. You can do the set of 14, which will bring you home 7 of the cinnamon and 7 of the very brand new cherry, which are absolutely delicious. Or you can say, you know what, I love the cinnamon, tried and true, and I'm gonna do the set of 14 cinnamon. Let us know which flavor. Then you can let us know, do you want us to ship them to you immediately or do you want to wait until June 17th? Either way, you'll get them home in time for 4th of July. And then I'm gonna recommend, because they are so good, do the auto delivery. They'll come home to you every 90 days for a year. You can change the flavors on the back and you can cancel at any time, but you lock in to the $31. And normally, if you go to QVC.com, that set of 14 crumb cakes is closer to $40. And 63441, Jimmy Tinico just came running in hot here. Did I forget to tell you you had to come back for an encore?
No.
I'm sorry.
I thought it was much later.
Oh. You have another one still coming up in your home with Jill,
right,
so we
yes.
get to hang out 3 times
That's right.
tonight. Jimmy Tinico, 30 years ago, you said, I'm not feeling the Wall Street thing.
I wasn't.
I'm feeling the baking thing, and this is the most unbelievable part of the story. You had never really baked before you got started 30
No,
years
you know
ago.
what? Growing up in an Italian family on Long Island, food was in our blood. Making people happy through food was in our blood. And being in a suit full time, I wasn't making people happy. And I followed a passion to make people happy through food, and I fell into baking. In my travels, I got to meet an 8th generation baker who taught me all that I know. What he taught me, one of the first things he taught me was crumb cake. In the New York metro area, as you well know, Sunday mornings is for crumb buns, crumb cake, and I fell in love with it. It was always my favorite thing. So this was one of the first things I learned. This is much different than what I originally learned because this is a pudding cake. This is a moist, soft pudding cake, and as you can see, that stripe of cinnamon that's inside.
Look, do you not want to dive in there or what?
It's actually the makings of my cinnamon roll filling because I love cinnamon, and I love cinnamon coffee cake, but I really wanted that push, that punch
This
of
is
cinnamon.
so good, and I'm about to just make
Be
a
my
hot
guest.
mess.
So now, I think you and I talked about this. My mother used
Oh, he got ice cream.
Yes,
Now I know
we
where
got
you
it.
went.
We got it. So
This is honestly, it's unbelievably moist. And if you've had crumb cake where it's a lot of crumb and a little bit of cake because the cake is like a dry sponge, this is the exact opposite. This is loaded. You taste butter, you taste the vanilla, and I'm about to taste this with ice cream, aren't I?
So
I love this, man.
So when I
Oh my goodness.
When I was a kid, my mom used to make pound cake and ice cream. You can take this crumb cake and you could slice it on a diagonal or in half or whatever. Get a skillet nice and hot. Butter the skillet or butter the crumb cake and put it face down, nice hot skillet, and toast it. And you'll have yourself the same thing as a toasted pound cake, but with a little bit more cinnamon kick, a little bit more crumb, and there you go.
I know it's so pretty, but do you mind if I dive my fork in there? Because holy cow.
We're New Yorkers. We listen. Nothing.
We kind of don't ask, right? We do first and ask for
nothing
forgiveness
stands
later.
between us and our dessert. So again, heating it up. When you heat it up, either in the microwave or in a plate, or in a skillet, I should say, you're going to bring out the butter notes. You're going to bring out the cinnamon notes.
Yes. Do it. Would you cut it? Put it on the pan. A little bit of butter. Put it with ice cream. I mean, you're not going to get off the couch. What I want you to do is just kind of unbutton your pants and like sit back and relax because that's what's going to happen.
Now I know you're from New York. That's Sunday.
I don't mess around.
That's Sunday between pasta and dessert.
Right?
You sit on the couch, you unbutton your pants, and you breathe.
You breathe.
Make room for more.
You take a moment. You take a little nap. And then you just sit back and you go in for more. And if you are someone who loves the sweet, if you love the cakes and the cookies and all of that, maybe you don't like. I'm not a baker. It's a precise science. It can be a lot of work. And the beauty of it is, Jimmy's been doing it for 30 years, and in my opinion, you've kind of perfected it, my friend. You've done a nice job.
Thank you.
And then we get to get it home and enjoy it. Each of these are individually wrapped, so they come home fresh.
Right.
And then we put them in the freezer.
In the freezer.
Okay.
I'm going to ask and even suggest that you put. They'll stay fresh in the wrapper for several days. It's rarely do I hear about a stale pudding cake, but when you freeze it, and I can't explain the science, but when you freeze a pudding cake and you thaw it, it actually comes out more moist after that freeze thaw. And what you're looking at right now is the paper cup that we bake it in, and you may ask, why bake it like that? Why bake it in paper? I would like you to see side by side that when you bake with paper, paper does not conduct heat. Kind of sounds counterintuitive. You want to conduct heat. In this case, you don't. When you bake in a metal pan, the sides of a cake or the bread is going to get crusty or it's going to get dry. I don't want that. I want just like the cinnamon rolls that are baked in paper. I bake the crumb cake in paper because I want everything to be like the center cut, right? Oh. So we bake in paper. You can put this in the freezer. Take it out of the cup before you serve it naturally. Even when you microwave it, take it out of the cup and put it on a plate. But this cake, this pudding cake, really holds fruit really well. So the next one up is our blueberry.
By the way, if you're someone who likes to go into the birthday cake and just cut the centerpiece out, you will love these, and you get 14 of them for $31. Okay.
So one of the things about baking with fruit that's really frustrating to guys like me is when you put the fruit in the batter and you mix it up and then you drop it or put it in the pans, sometimes you miss. Sometimes fruit doesn't get in there, and that maybe you might be the unlucky one who doesn't get the one with fruit in it. Mm-hmm. Number two, when you put the fruit in the batter, it gets watery. Fruit is like 80% water. Mm-hmm. So what I've decided to do, and that's one of the advantages of baking in the cups, my employees weren't thrilled about the decision, but we drop drop the blueberries in each cup. So you're sure that every piece of cake is going to have blueberries in it. It's going to have the same amount of blueberries in it. It takes a lot longer to do. And of course, some people think I'm a little bit kooky for doing it. But I just want to make sure that you get blueberry or cherry in every cake.
And what's the crumb topping on this all about?
So this is what they call a white streusel topping. Okay. It doesn't, regular crumb topping, the cinnamon crumb topping might have brown sugar, butter and or margarine in it, and cinnamon. The white crumb topping is a little bit sweeter. It doesn't have the cinnamon to cut into the sweetness. It's a combination of butter and margarine. And by the way, the reason I use margarine maintains moisture better than butter does. So I cut the butter with a little bit margarine. I like that. I like the crumb to stay crispy for a while, but I also like when you bite into the crumb, it should be kind of like a cookie. When you bite the crispy outside,
it's like that crispy butter cookie.
Right.
That's almost what it tastes like on top of there. And those blueberries are juicy and they're delicious and they marry beautifully with the taste of the vanilla. But then we did another new flavor.
Right. We did cherry. And well, they wanted red, white, and blue. And
that's been popular,
and
my friend.
they asked about raspberry, but I wanted to try something different. So let's talk about the labor of love that cherry brought to us. Okay. So when we baked with it, we bought our cherries that came stemmed from my produce guy and all that stuff. We are generally pretty happy. But when we tasted it, we found that it wasn't kind of sweet enough. So we've never made pie filling from scratch. Guys like me, we have the availability to buy some really nice ready-made pie filling. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. So we made, and here I brought some, we made very simple, like if you go to those old cookbooks like Joy of Baking, just the fruit, the sugar, and the starch. And we just heated it up and made our own fruit filling, which we put in the cake. Now, same deal. We put the batter in the cup, we put the cherries on top of the batter, and then the crumb on top of that.
Well, and notice this as well. You know, sometimes you hear the cherry filling and I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be overwhelming and it's going to kind of fall out and be a mess. Look at how, once again, like a river, it just completely kind of flows all the way through that buttery, vanilla, delicious cake topped with just mountains of crumb. You can do 12 of the cherry, 12 of the, 12. Now I think I've had a lot of cake. You get 14 total. My pop numbers aren't my thing, Jimmy.
It's okay.
You get 14. You can do 7 of the cherry, 7 of the cinnamon. Now we're back on track. 7 of the blueberry, 7 of the cinnamon. Or you can just go ahead and dive in and do 14 of the cinnamon. Lock into auto delivery, comes home every 90 days for a year. They last in our freezer up to 90 days. And you can decide to get them shipped home today. Or you can decide to get them shipped home June 17th. Either way, they'll be home in time for 4th of July. Your item number, M63441. It tastes homemade. That's what scratch baking is all about. And Jimmy, like he said, has worked, for a while to perfect these, and they are perfection. While you place your order, Carrie's been very patient. She's right here in Pennsylvania. Carrie, Jimmy, Katie, how are you tonight?
I'm fine. How are you tonight?
We're good. Where in Pennsylvania are you?
I'm from Philadelphia.
Nice. You're close by.
Then you know crumb cake.
I live in Philadelphia now. I used to be in Utah.
Oh, nice. Okay. Utah's beautiful. Oh, my goodness. I understand that you're a fan of Jimmy's.
Yes, I am very. My daughter and I are.
It's a family tradition now. What do you love about Jimmy's products?
You're never wrong. No matter what he sells and what you get, and it's perfect. I love the crumb cakes all the time.
What flavors have you tried in the crumb cake so far?
I've tried the cinnamon, I've tried the raspberry, so I'm trying the cinnamon and cherry tonight.
Oh, I think you're going to love it.
Did you try putting them in the microwave, the cinnamon?
Mm-hmm.
Right, just like 10, 15 seconds. It's just enough.
That's enough just to bring out the flavor.
That's right. Very good.
Okay, so Carrie, if somebody has not tried Jimmy's before, we all see crumb cake on the store shelves. We see it, when we run in and grab something at the convenience store. What would you say is different about Jimmy's, and why would you recommend them?
I would recommend Jimmy 200%. Leave the stuff in the store alone.
I'm
Once
embarrassed.
you try Jimmy, you won't go back.
He's blushing, Carrie. That was perfectly said. I love that. I love the way you said it. Once you try Jimmy's, you just don't go back.
Thank you.
You don't go back. Mm-mm.
Oh, my goodness. I can't wait for you to get these home. Did you have them shipped today?
Yes, I did.
See?
Uh-oh.
Good girl. That's the way we do it, right?
I'll keep an eye out for your order. I'll make sure the extra fruit is in the crumb cake and the extra cinnamon, okay?
Okay, Jimmy, thank you, and you guys have a good night.
You
Thank
have
you
a
so
wonderful
much.
night and have a great summer,
Thank
Carrie.
you.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 200%. You can't fight those numbers, Jimmy.
That's nice.
You can do the set of 14, which will be 7 of the cinnamon, 7 of the blueberry. You can go for the 7 of the cinnamon, 7 of the cherry, which is what our friend just ordered because she hadn't tried them before. They're brand new tonight in the cherry. Or you can do the 14 in the cinnamon. 3 easy payments. Normally, if you went to QVC.com, you'd be talking about $39 and change. This is the lowest price we've ever done this for, at $31, but that price isn't going to be in effect forever. So the auto delivery is how you can lock it in and get it home every 90 days for a year. Now, you can cancel at any time. You can change up the flavors on the back end, but what are you going to serve when you've got family coming in for Father's Day for breakfast in the morning? What are you going to top with ice cream and serve for dessert at night? And what are you going to do if you've got the girls' weekend and everybody stayed up late and now you're just kind of sitting around, you're reminiscing and you're telling stories? You're going to pull out one of these, you're going to put it in the microwave, and everybody just kind of sits back and relaxes and just puts a smile on their face. This is the love that you found, that you didn't have on Wall Street, that you found for baking.
Thank you.
That you've infused.
That's
and really,
very
you do,
nice.
honestly, Jimmy, you taste it in every single bite.
Thank you. That's very nice.
And I'm going to dive in and take another one.
I'm flattered. People seem to really be liking the blueberry too tonight.
I do.
Saw the math.
Well,
and
because you know what it is, like in growing up in New Jersey in the summertime, you'd buy blueberries, right? And you'd make pancakes.
Hamilton, New Jersey blueberries, cultivated blueberries, nice and big.
Perfect.
That's I don't use wild.
Look at
Wild are
that.
too small. I want the big cultivated blueberries. So when you bite into the cake, you should feel the blueberry crunch down.
Okay,
I
let me
love
make
it.
sure.
Go ahead, go for it. I got to impress a Jersey girl with blueberries. I'm nervous.
Nailed it.
Okay.
Oh, it's so good. The crumbs are a little crunchy. The cake is moist. The fruit dances, and the cinnamon just melts in your mouth, my friend. High five.
High five.
Come on
Thank
in
you.
here.
Right here.
Congratulations on your first QVC 2 big deal.
Thank you.
Use 7 of the cinnamon, 7 of the blueberry, 7 cinnamon, 7 cherry, 14 cinnamon. Auto delivery. Let us know today or the 17th and do the auto delivery. One more time, it's M63441. Okay. We'll see you in a little bit on Your Home with Jill, my friend.
Okay.
I am actually going to run. Jill Bauer is waiting right down the hall. We have Your Home with Jill up ahead. Some great items. And Jimmy will